Hello everybody, welcome to another watercolor tutorial. We are painting another thing for my imagination today, which sometimes works out and sometimes does not, but luckily I've sketched it out already, so I have a good feeling about this one. If you want to make this easier for yourself, go on the internet and find a picture of a turtle or a tortoise and either trace it or draw it from there. And then just sketch out a bunch of 3D boxes of different shapes that are piled on top of your tortoise or turtle. It's just going to make this whole process a lot easier for you because they're overlapping, so you have to kind of account for the overlapping lines, and you don't want the watercolor of one box to show through the other one, so just keep that in mind. So I think that it is probably easiest to work top to bottom because each one overlaps the other, and so that will prevent that watercolor from showing through in the next box or tortoise shell that you are painting. Okay, so I should have thought of this beforehand, but I'm trying to think of what would be the best contrast for these gifts, like what colors would look nicest with them. I should have thought about that first, but I'm gonna go with like a purple and gold for the top one. So I made all my boxes different shapes, mostly for aesthetic purposes. Like if you just have a bunch of squares on top of one another, it's not as appealing to the eye as something like this. But if that's what you're comfortable with, go for it. It's your card. So I'm just leaving a stripe in the center here because I'm going to paint that gold, I think, using the metallic colors that I have with this palette. If you want this palette for yourself, I have a link in the description. It is my new favorite palette. I do not use my old one anymore. I mean, I use the metal part just to mix colors, but I don't use the colors in the palette. Not to say that the previous one was not good, because I used it for 3 years, so clearly it was good for something. It did the job. So I'm leaving these white gaps because it's easier than waiting for each little part to dry. So I'm going to water that down to fill in this top part. Like that, although that probably should have been darker, not lighter. I can always fix that, and I'll do it now. I'm just going to take my quadruple zero with some black and just kind of define that top there. And I still have to paint the bow, but I'll do that once that dries. Same with that golden stripe in the center. So I'm just going to move on to the second gift. I think I'll make that just a solid blue. I was thinking of polka dots, but I might do the polka dots on top because the watercolor palette that I'm using is super opaque. So it does allow for that, which is really awesome. So I'm just choosing a random blue. I have so many blues to choose from that this is the winner. I just have to be careful when I'm painting this to not overlap with the purple gift, as I kind of already did. I don't have very much time for this tutorial because I have to make dinner. And I originally was going to choose a tutorial that was going to be a lot simpler, but then I'm like, no, I want to get this one out of the way because it is from my imagination, so that doesn't always go to plan. But so far, so good. And I want to leave that white space again, but I should have used my smaller brush. I kind of lifted the paint off there because I didn't leave those white gaps and I wanted to look like there is, you know, a 3D edge there. I could just go over it with black, which, yeah, that's what I'm gonna do. Because it might fade otherwise. That didn't really do very much. I have to wait for it to dry. It's the story of my life. Waiting for paint to dry. Okay, so that one's all right. We'll move on to the bottom gift, which is, oh, actually, I realize now my mistake, but there's nothing that can be done about it, so I'll make it red then. I was gonna make it green, but the shell is supposed to be green, so the box is going to be red. Like an orangey red. No, I want it to be actually red. Okay. So I'm painting the top, like the lid of the gift first, because it sticks out a little bit beyond the edges. And so the rest of the gift is kind of based off of that. So I do want to have that properly painted. So we've been harvesting a lot of peas from the garden. If you're confused, it's probably because you haven't watched my previous tutorials. I am filming this in July, even though you're going to be seeing it in December, because I am having a baby and I need to pre-film a bunch of things so that I don't feel overwhelmed. So right now, at the time of filming this video, I am harvesting a lot of peas from my garden, and I either harvested them too early or I planted the wrong kind of pea, because they're not this like sweet, delicious taste that I remember from last year. Oops, that may not have been on the camera. So I was like, oh my gosh, what am I gonna do with these peas? Because I still have a bag of frozen peas from last year, like with the shells or husks, like the skin around the peas. Because sugar snap peas, you're supposed to eat the whole thing, and they taste really good. They're like snacking peas. Well, yeah, so I must have done something wrong because they don't taste like that this year. And I mean, they're still good to eat. We still enjoyed them fresh, but I was like, oh, maybe these are the kinds that I'm supposed to shell, which is awesome because we do buy those at the grocery store to put into like stir fries and stuff. So it'd be pretty cool if we just had them from the garden. I don't know why I didn't think to plant that in the first place, but I thought of that today, and then I'm like, no, Julia, you are on a roll with the painting. You're almost done the year. Just paint, and then you can do that after. I really like that white, like leaving a white gap. I think it looks a lot nicer. But that is just my opinion. I should have left a white gap like I did with this purple one, because then I could have had a really nice white stripe to paint. So I'm picking up my metallic gold, or I don't know if this is gold or what. Metallic, and it looks kind of gold. And I'm just filling in that stripe on the purple gift. Like so. And I'm also going to add a gold bow on the top of the purple gift. So you don't have to follow the colors I'm using. Like, you can paint whatever you want, whatever colors you want. That's the beauty of it all. Okay, and I'm tempted to take my metallic silver, or no, I'll take whatever this is. It's like a metallic aqua. So neat, so neat. And just okay, I initially was going to add dots, but I don't think I like them. I don't like the dots, but I have committed. So dots it is. Okay, and then I am gonna probably add a ribbon to this red gift, but it's still wet, so in the meantime we will move on to the tortoise. I'm gonna make the body of the tortoise a brownish color, and the shell, I know in a tortoise it's also brown, but that's boring. So I'm going to make it green so it can be a turtle. be whatever you want it to be. So having these sections already mapped out for myself, seriously, so much easier than if I would have had to freehand it. Go closer in so you can see. There is a high chance that I will very slowly move this out of frame. It's too bad that you can't yell from the other side like, hello, back in frame, please. I kind of took a different green for this section, but you know what? Why not? Why not have a mosaic of greens on this shell? It's a Christmas turtle, for goodness sake. Maybe we should give him a bow. That would be very cute. All right, we're about 17 minutes into this tutorial. I really have to make dinner, but we're almost done. Today has been a good day. I need to acknowledge the good days because, you know, people tend to only complain. I do that, like in my tutorials when I'm having a bad day and like I just have tutorial after tutorial that is not working out how I want it to. You guys know about it because I talk about it. But I should also acknowledge the good days. And today, despite feeling really unwell in the morning, I got so much done. I was not anticipating or planning to paint December's tutorials today because I just did all of November yesterday, which was also kind of a feat in itself because I also didn't feel good yesterday. But I don't know. It's like I was blessed with extra hours today that I didn't even notice. Because there are some days where I'm busy all day and then at the end of the day, I'm like, where did the time go? I got nothing done today. And then there are days like today where it just feels like I did so much. Oh, this tortoise is so cute. I don't want to go too quickly because I don't want to mess this up. It's looking so nice. But I have a very hardworking and hungry husband to feed. He makes dinners on the weekends, and then I make dinners on weekdays. And one of my goals for the summer was to meal plan better because I always get to dinner time and I open the fridge and I have no idea what to make. So a lot of the times it ends up being soup. And today it's gonna be a stir fry because there's like nothing in the fridge. There's peas and carrots and more peas from our garden. Okay, the tortoiseshell is done. I am now going to do the body. So it's kind of like a brownish gray, I would say. So that's what I'm doing. I'm mixing brown and gray together. Holy, my foot is asleep. Okay, that's too much gray. The eye and the mouth there remind me a little bit of those Pillsbury cookies. It's a little bit creepy. No, it reminds me of in the movie Forrest Gump when it's in one of the scenes where Forrest is doing his like random jogging across America, and this guy who's following him, like he's inspired by him, gets splashed by mud from a passing car, so he uses a shirt to wipe his face, and then conveniently there's like this smiley face on it, and that's how the yellow smiley face started, according to that movie. I don't think that's actually how it started, but and this is what that reminds me of that scene, because it was a very uncomfortable looking smiley face. Sorry, tortoise, I made you look a little bit creepy. So yeah, the trick here, I think, is just leaving like a tiny white gap in between everything. It makes everything look intentional and complete. Okay, and finally the tail. There we go. Okay, so the other thing that I said I was going to do is add that bow on this guy, but I don't really feel like doing that because if I put the green on it, it's just not gonna look the way I want it to, but whatever, let's just try. Excuse me. Oh, okay. See, this is what having good watercolor paints feels like. They're opaque enough that you can actually see the green. Well, I can. I don't know if it's showing up on the camera too well. Okay. Perfect. So that that's basically it. I mean, you're welcome to add a Christmas greeting, Merry Christmas, or whatever you want to add down below. But I'm just gonna leave it as like that so that I can have more versatility with how I use this card. But I hope you guys really enjoyed this one. Hit like if you did, comment down below. I love reading your comments, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next tutorial.